Some unexpected movement on the Florida State coaching staff combined with a huge gift from an alumni. What does that mean for the Seminoles? Plus, the ACC as an entirety. Who got invited to the combine and which school was the only one that did not get a player invited? Spoiler, it's probably not who you're expecting. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ACC Uprising. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we got a fun one cooking up for you all in this video here today. We are going to start with a little bit of specific localized Florida State news, and then we're going to branch it out and talk about the ACC as a whole as it relates to the NFL Combine. My apologies for not getting any videos out over the weekend. I was at a bachelor trip. The guy who's one of my best friends, actually going to be the best man at my wedding next spring. He had his bachelor trip over the weekend. We were up in the Poconos. Never been up there myself. I was surprised it was, I've certainly heard of the Poconos. I didn't realize how removed from society they were. Very small town sort of vibes to it. Not a whole lot going on. We went down to Stroudsburg and had ourselves the night on the town, but it was a fun time. You guys didn't come here for that. I recognize that. You came here for the football. So we're going to jump into it in just a moment. But before we do, make sure you guys hit the like button and the subscribe button if you have not already. We are back from the trip, which means we are back to the daily uploads. And it's a fun time of year because in the off season, it's weird. Normally when the off season rolls around, it's the dead period and you're kind of struggling and scrambling for things to talk about. Well, everybody's talking about the games when they happen during the regular season. Everybody's talking about the same thing. In the offseason, it's a fun time to go down different avenues. You know, I put out my top quarterbacks list in the ACC last week. We talked about an article which ranked all the ACC teams. It's a fun time. So I always say this, but no matter if you're a fan of Duke, Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, doesn't matter. ACC Uprising is a home for you. So let's jump into the meat and potatoes of the video. Jameis Winston has donated more than $1 million to Florida State. Yes, of course, Jameis Winston, who by now, I feel like if you like football, you like Jameis Winston. Everybody loves this dude. According to Front Office Sports, Winston said that he gave, quote, more than $1 million to Florida State, and he is in control of none of it. The Florida State Athletics Department and the football team are free to spend it how they wish. Winston said, quote, I definitely donated to my alma mater. However they distribute that money is up to them. But the NIL phase is huge, right? Because you're seeing college players make a large sum of money, but you're also seeing them get connected with lawyers, with financial advisors, with a different type of person that they wouldn't have access to unless they were drafted in the NFL. So as all my Florida State fans watching this know, and really is probably everybody here knows, Winston is a legend down there in Tallahassee. Spent 3 years at Florida State, started for 2 of them, went 26-1 overall, won a BCS national title, and of course, a Heisman Trophy. Eventually, he was taken first in the 2015 NFL Draft, and according to Spotrac, he has made either $80 or $80.5 million during his playing career, only off of contracts. Now, 2 years ago was rock bottom for Florida State. They went 2-10. They failed to score 20 points in 10 games. Last year, little bit of a rebound, 3-win improvement. Hey, that's all right. But still, 5-7 is not the expectation for Florida State, especially when you open the year by demolishing an Alabama team that went to the college football playoff. But having more financial backing certainly will help this team get back on the right track. With me saying that, the unexpected movement on the coaching staff. You know, the Seminoles were already up against it because the head coaching situation, certainly nobody is thrilled. Offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn retires, and then all of a sudden you hire somebody named Shaun Shivers to be your assistant running backs coach, and the news that I have for you all today is he's leaving. According to a report from Mike Singer, Shivers, who only just joined the staff in January, is now expected to leave and become the assistant wide receiver coach at Notre Dame. Ultimately, probably not the biggest deal in the world. Losing an assistant running backs coach, again, not the biggest change. However, it's just more shakeup on the offensive side of the football, and it's a lack of stability for a team that's trying to find some of it and find some consistency. So we will see what happens moving forward. Keeping it on Florida State, the Seminoles were after 3-star quarterback Derrick Baker from Alpharetta, Georgia. He visited Tallahassee and the campus on the weekend of January 24th. However, he committed to Tennessee last Wednesday. That means that with that recruiting race out of the way, done and dusted, Florida State will now turn to wonderful champ Monds IV from Vero Beach, Florida. 6'2" quarterback ranked number 17 in the class of 2027, meaning next year will be his senior year. Florida and Notre Dame have also registered real interest in him, so we'll see how that plays out. But certainly, Jameis Winston's $1 million donation, $1 million plus donation, is not going to hurt them in that pursuit. Okay, let's talk about the NFL Combines. So the invitation went out, the NFL Combine. I don't know why I pluralized that. The NFL Combine and the invitations that went out. So I believe 361 individuals were invited to come participate in the bench and the 40-yard dash and the cone drill and the vertical leap and the broad jump and all the great stuff that they do over there. I don't know how many accepted, but 361 invitations, I believe is the number that went out. A good chunk of those went to the ACC, and I have ordered the schools in terms of which ones received the most invitations to the ones that received the fewest. And I'm actually going to start at the bottom. And as I mentioned in the intro, there was only one team that did not have a single player invited to the NFL Combine. Do you guys have any idea which ACC school that is? Answer's coming up in 3, 2, 1. Virginia Tech. Once a powerhouse of the conference, not getting a single invite. 0. Goose egg. Of 17 programs, the only one that did not have a player invited. 4 schools only got 1 invitation. Syracuse, hey, they snuck a punter in there. Jack Stonehouse on his way to the Combine, at least if he accepts the invitation. Virginia, running back Jamari Taylor, he got 1. Cal, cornerback Ezekiel Massis, he got 1. And then Florida State, defensive lineman Darrell Jackson Jr. also got an invitation. Stanford, Wake Forest, Pitt, NC State, North Carolina, and Louisville all got 2. For Stanford, it was Colin Wright and Sam Roush. For Wake Forest, it was Damon Claiborne and Fa'ale Fa'amo, whose name I still have not learned how to pronounce. Pitt got Kyle Lewis and Desmond Reed. NC State got Justin Jolly and Brandon Cleveland. UNC got Marcus Allen II and Thaddeus Dixon. And Louisville got Chris Bell and Colin Lacey. Boston College actually got 3 invitations. Jude Bowery, Logan Taylor, and Quintavious Hutchins. Duke, SMU, and Georgia Tech all got 4. For Duke, it was Brian Parker II, Vincent Anthony Jr., Wesley Williams, and Chandler Rivers. For SMU, it was Jordan Hudson, Matthew Hibner, RJ Maryland, and Ahmad Moses. Georgia Tech was Ahmad Harvey, Haynes King, Eric Rivers, and Keelan Routledge. And then we get to Clemson at the runner-up spot with 9. So you go 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 9. So pretty big gulf there. But Cade Klubnik, Alan Randall, Antonio Williams, Blake Miller, DeMonte Capehart, TJ Parker, Peter Woods, Wade Woods, and Avion Terrell. They all got 1. And then we get to the top of the conference, to nobody's surprise, Miami, who actually only narrowly beat out Clemson, but they had 10 invitations received. Carson Beck, CJ Daniels, Markel Bell, Inez Cooper, Francis Mauga, who's another one whose name I can't pronounce, Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, Wesley Besaint, Keontae Scott, and Jacoby Thomas. So that is, let's see, if I do the quickest math I can, that's 10, 19, 23, 27, 31, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Wow, fitting. 50 invitations across the ACC. Again, Miami and Clemson leading the way with 10 and 9 respectively. Virginia Tech, the only team without an invitation. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you found this informative, enjoyable, anything at all, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for daily news across the ACC. If we didn't hit your team in this video, we will certainly get them in an upcoming video if we're not just talking about the conference as an entirety. But I'm going to head out of here. I appreciate you all rocking out here at ACC Uprising, and we'll catch you in the next one.